So today we're just going to show you kind of how the body works, and I've got a little diagram to show you a little bit what we've been talking about and how things work. So the first thing is, in your body, what's controlling everything in your body? What controls it all?
Your brain.
You got it. Your brain. And how does your brain get the messages to your body?
Through your nerves.
You got it. So you got your brain sending messages to your body, and then your body's actually giving feedback to your brain, and all these messages are going back and forth really fast through the spinal cord. And when that works good, how do you think your body will function or work? Yeah, good. We call it a state of ease. And that's just normal. What happens is we slip, we fall, we shovel, we do things in life that cause those little tiny stabilizer muscles in your spine to get hurt and spasm. When they spasm, they are then going to pinch and irritate these nerves, and then you see these messages not get through. What do you think will happen to your function when there's pinching in there?
It'll go down.
You got it. We call it a malfunction. Here's the thing though, you feel fine when you're malfunctioning, but as you malfunction over time, you then don't have ease, you actually go into a stage of dis-ease or disease. Still no symptoms. And then once you get bad enough, you actually start to experience or feel symptoms. And usually you have to get below about a 40% loss of, once your function gets below about 40%, then you start to feel the symptoms. So what I'm trying to show you is that things kind of start small and then they get worse over time until it's bad enough that you feel it. So it's kind of like if you went to a dentist and he said, hey, you've got 3 cavities, and you said, no, I don't. I'll be back when my teeth hurt because I feel fine right now. And you went home and you waited and waited and waited, and your teeth started to go into the disease process, and they got worse and worse and worse, and then it started to hurt, and then you couldn't chew or bite down. And then you go back to the dentist, would you still have 3 cavities?
Probably not. You probably have more.
Yeah, and the cavities probably turned into like root canals or maybe even having to pull your teeth. And so what I'm trying to show you is things kind of just get worse over time. That's why you get a mammogram, a pap smear, a breast exam, a blood pressure check, even if you don't have symptoms, because everybody in healthcare knows you can find things going on with people that they might not even be aware of yet. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So here's how you kind of end up down there. Most people start at 100% when you're little. Everything's working great. But then you do stuff. You fall on your bike. You fall down the stairs. You crash in a car. You get hit playing hockey. You slip down the flight of stairs when it's snowy. You run into a tree sledding. And things happen in life. They just kind of build up like straw on a camel's back. So it's like if we have this camel and you put a piece of straw on his back and he could talk and you asked him, does that hurt you? He'd say no. You put another piece and another piece and another piece and he would have no problem. But one day you would put a piece on and the camel would fall to the ground. It's not the last straw that was so heavy. It's the same. It's the cumulative load. And so life is like that with human beings. We do all these things that you just get up and you go, I'm fine. You fly through the windshield in a car accident. Hey, I didn't get hurt. You know what I mean? And as it builds up, you're going to do something that pushes you below the line. And often that can be things like I bent down to tie my shoe, or I, picked up a gallon of milk or something silly that just pushed you below the line, and now you're in all these symptoms. Now watch this. If we were to work on you and turn you around, as soon as you get right there, how would you feel right there?
You feel good because the symptoms are gone.
You got it. You'd have no symptoms. So you'd actually feel like you're here. The problem is those are not the same spot. And if we were just to get you here, and then you said, hey, I'm good, or we said, hey, you're good, come back when you hurt, and we left you so close to that line, what do you think would happen the next time you would go and do something in life that would stress that area again?
You feel the symptoms.
Right. It would just shove you right back down again. And doing this over and over and over, it allows things to kind of just keep getting worse over time. So it's really not the best choice to have the best results. What's better would be to bring this up here as high as you could get it. And I say as high as you could get it Because nobody's ever at 100%, nobody's ever reverse aged or 18 again or bulletproof. But once you're up there as high as you could get, say we just stopped working on you at that level, would you just stay there, do you think?
No.
No, because you're still doing life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to start dropping down. Now here's the thing, what if instead of just letting that all stack up like that, we pulled that out of there and just kept it working good all the time? That's what we call preventative care. And if you think about it, who do you think should be getting that in the world?
Everybody.
Yeah, it's just nobody knows about it. So here's the big question. You get to here, you feel great. So how are we going to know where you are then between here and here? Because you won't be able to tell by how you feel. Any idea?
The retests?
You got it. So when you first come in, we do tests with you to see where those weak spots are. And then what we're able to do is periodically redo those tests so we can tell you if you're here, if you're here, if you're here, if you're there. And we'll also know when you've plateaued at the best you can be. That way we can track it objectively, and it's not just us guessing, and it's not just you wondering where you are. You're never wondering, how much more do I need? Where am I at? How long is this going to take? We can predict all that and show you with our graphing so that you always know where you're at. So you know if you're right here on the line, you know we're expecting that you're susceptible. And if you do something, you could drop back down. And if you're way up here, a lot of times you can get away with having accidents and injuries and it doesn't even bother you. And then we just nip them in the bud and it keeps things good. So does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the whole key.